Her fingertips barely grazed his arm, but the heat that sparked between them was undeniable. In that simple touch lay 1,000 unsaid words, a tension so electric it hummed in the silence around them. Their eyes locked, heavy with promises, yet to be spoken, the air thick with anticipation and unspoken desire. He leaned in slowly, breath mingling with hers, the faint scent of her skin intoxicating and familiar. She didn't pull away. Instead, her hand rested lightly against his chest, feeling the steady beat beneath. The night wrapped them in its quiet embrace, every glance and every breath weaving a silent conversation only their bodies understood. Words felt unnecessary here. This was a language written in touches, glances, and the steady rhythm of two hearts syncing. And then, with deliberate softness, she closed the distance between them, a touch that promised everything was about to change. This wasn't just a moment. It was the beginning of a story that neither of them could ignore. The room held a quiet stillness after that fleeting touch, as if the world itself had paused to watch the story unfold between them. She sank onto the worn leather chair by the window, the soft glow of city lights filtering through the curtains, casting delicate shadows across her face. His presence lingered just a few steps away, every inch of space charged with unspoken possibilities. Neither spoke, yet the air between them was thick with meaning. Her mind raced, caught between the thrill of connection and the fear of vulnerability. Memories of past heartbreaks flickered in her eyes, a delicate veil she wore to guard herself from being hurt again. But tonight, something was different. Something raw and unguarded. He moved closer, his gaze steady and warm, breaking through the walls she had built around herself. The distance closed with gentle ease until their breaths mingled in the quiet space between words. His hand found hers, fingers entwining with a familiarity that surprised them both. This was not the beginning of a perfect love story. It was the messy, beautiful collision of two souls desperate to feel alive again. And as the night deepened, so did their connection. A slow unraveling of fear, a tentative dance toward trust, and the awakening of a desire neither could ignore. The following evening brought with it a subtle shift in the air, a warmth that hadn't been there before. They met again, this time in a quiet cafe tucked away from the city's relentless pace. The soft murmur of conversations and clinking of cups formed a gentle backdrop as their eyes sought one another's with a mix of curiosity and cautious hope. He arrived first, hands slightly trembling beneath the table, heart thudding against his ribs in a rhythm that matched hers. When she walked in, the light caught her hair just right, and for a moment the world narrowed to the space between them. No words were needed to acknowledge the electric pull that drew them closer. As she sat, their fingers brushed, a fleeting contact that sent a thrill through both. Their conversation began with careful smiles and tentative laughter, a dance of vulnerability and strength. With every shared story, every glance held a secret longing, an unspoken invitation to step beyond the safe boundaries they had built around their hearts. His voice lowered, warm and sincere, weaving between confession and charm. She felt the I-us tension ease, replaced by a simmering desire that both excited and unsettled her. The scent of his cologne mingled with the faint aroma of her perfume, a sensory echo that lingered long after the meeting ended. As the night drew on, the space between them shrank. His hand found hers again, fingers curling softly, a promise hanging unspoken in the charged silence. And just when the moment seemed perfect, the echo of a past betrayal whispered in the back of her mind, a reminder that trust, once broken, does not heal easily. They parted that night with a lingering look, both knowing this was just the beginning of a journey filled with passion, uncertainty, and the intoxicating dance of connection. Days melted into evenings, and their meetings grew, longer, the moments between words richer. It was no longer just about stolen glances or hesitant touches. It had evolved into a language all their own, spoken softly through lingering looks, gentle brushes of skin, and the silent comfort of shared space. One afternoon, sunlight filtered through the lace curtains, casting delicate patterns across the room where they sat close, inches apart. She could feel the warmth radiating from him, a steady pulse that seemed to synchronize with her own. His hand found hers, fingers intertwining with a certainty that dissolved the walls she had built. For so long, their conversation paused, breaths mingling in the quiet. The air hummed with something electric, an unspoken promise shimmering just beneath the surface. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to retreat or advance, to deny or accept the pull between them. Her heart thundered as his lips brushed hers, a gentle, tentative kiss that carried the weight of all the things they had been too afraid to say. It was a kiss that spoke of longing and hope, of pain and healing. They broke apart, foreheads resting, together sharing a breathless moment suspended in time. As days passed, their connection deepened beyond the physical. She saw the vulnerability hidden beneath his confidence, and he felt the strength in her quiet resilience. Their conversations became confessions, their laughter a balm to old wounds. Trust grew in the spaces where silence once lived, yet beneath the warmth and tenderness, a flicker of uncertainty lingered. Both knew the path ahead was not without shadows. Past scars and hidden fears waited patiently, threatening to unravel the fragile tapestry they were weaving. But in that moment, wrapped in each other's arms, those shadows seemed a little less daunting. Together, they were discovering that love could be both fierce and gentle, a delicate balance of fire and surrender. Just when the warmth of their connection began to feel like a sanctuary, an unexpected shadow crept into their lives. She had thought the past was behind her, but old wounds have a way of reopening without warning. A message arrived, anonymous, cryptic, and laced with threats. It wasn't just words. It was a reminder that some secrets refused to stay buried. The note was short, but chilling. Some things are better left alone. Her heart raced as she showed it to him. The smile that had once been so easy now faltered, replaced by a guarded glance. They both knew what this meant. The ghosts of her past were not done with her yet. That night, tension hung heavy in the air between them. Conversations grew sparse, words weighed down by unspoken fears. The safe bubble they had built was punctured, and the reality of what lay ahead pressed in from all sides. One evening, as rain battered the windows, a sudden knock shattered the fragile calm. His eyes darkened as he moved to answer, muscles coiling with alertness. But the door swung open to reveal nothing but an empty porch, save for a single folded piece of paper resting on the welcome mat. Inside, the note whispered of betrayal, of lies, and of a past that refused to stay silent. It was a test, a challenge to their newfound trust, a warning that the path they walked was fraught with danger. Yet amidst the turmoil, their bond held firm. They stood together, not as two fearful souls, but as one, ready to face whatever storms lay ahead. Because some stories, no matter how painful, demand to be lived fully, and this was theirs. After the storm passed, the air felt lighter, as if the world itself was exhaling a long-held breath. They had faced the shadows, and though scars remained, their connection was stronger than ever. She no longer flinched at silence or sudden knocks. His steady presence was a fortress, and together, they found peace in the quiet moments. Soft smiles, lingering touches, and shared laughter that felt like healing. Their love wasn't perfect. It was raw, honest, and beautiful in its imperfection. Each day was a choice to stay, to trust, and to build something new from the broken pieces. As sunlight poured through the window one morning, she reached for his hand, squeezing it gently. No words were needed. The warmth between them spoke volumes, a promise of patience, passion, and a future forged together. In that moment, they understood. Love is not just about the fiery beginnings or dramatic endings. It is about the slow, steady weaving of two lives into one, daring to be vulnerable, daring to be real. And as they faced the world side by side, their hearts beat in quiet harmony, bold, brave, and unbreakable. If this story touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Every like, comment, and subscription helps us bring more real, powerful stories to life. Have you ever experienced a moment where love and courage changed everything? Share your story below. Your voice matters. Together, we create a community that supports, heals, and inspires. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to never miss a new story. Remember, sometimes the bravest thing we do is open our hearts.